Hi, this is Dr. Randy Hurst. I'm a clinical psychologist doing these videos to try to give basic information, partly about the brain, partly about ways that people can change, and to understand ways that people can find themselves in trouble with anxiety, depression, alcohol, drug issues, behavioral patterns that cause problems in their lives. So this particular video is about a tool for beginning to make changes, to think differently, and to start helping patterns change. I call it right to right. I was going to talk of it as unsent letters, but really there's a lot of ways that it's not about letters, but letters can be a great way to get information out. So if that's interesting for you, keep listening. We'll go from there. So through the years, I've worked with people who have had old issues, traumas, emotional pain. They may have caused others pain or had problems caused by others, or are just trying to change patterns in their lives, and they keep getting caught up in wanting to change, being troubled by what's going on, and in some cases, well, if they're seeing me, the reason that they're seeing me is likely that they've slid back into problems again after making great intentions to change. Changing can be so hard. If you've seen some of the other videos, you know that change really sets up for uncertainties. The old pattern wants to grab hold because the old pattern is what feels right, even if we know in our head it isn't right. And so it's so easy to just slide into the old pattern again if those feelings of uncertainty, of discomfort, trying something new, just not being sure it's going to work, and in essence, either giving up consciously, but usually just sliding back in and fairly unconsciously doing the old things and then going, oh crap, why did I do that again? So one of the things that I help people make sense of is the way the brain works is it becomes, the more you do a pattern, the more automatic it becomes. And the more automatic it becomes, the less you are thinking or choosing to do whatever it is that's been the problem. And the easier it is to slide back in or relapse back to the old pattern because it really isn't a conscious thing. So how do you deliberately keep that change happening? And one of the ways is to write about it, to help yourself really be clear the what it is and the why it is you're doing what you're doing, and describing what went wrong in a situation, what was the reason, what was the feeling, what was the just reaction that slid you back into the old thing, but do it by writing. This can be keeping a journal as one way, where you're just exploring how your day went. What did you do right? Pat yourself on the back. What went wrong? What didn't go well? And to look at it. And the reason that I like writing is that you can't, well, let me put it a different way. Feelings don't think. They react. They're very fast. They're separate from thinking. They're a different part of the brain than the thinking brain. And writing is a way of engaging that thinking brain, that part of you that has thought about this and does want things to go better. And so it also is a way of planning, of envisioning this thing you're trying to do more of, making lists or working out what your goal is for that day and what you might do to make it more likely. And I don't mean big old long crazy things, but in some cases little lists or brief reflections in a journal of the good, the bad and the ugly. But but use it as a way of parenting yourself, of coaching yourself in a way you would want to be parented. It's so easy to harangue yourself, to get angry with yourself, to feel a failure. But be that parent or coach that encourages and reminds and makes little steps, goals that are small steps, so that you have a chance of having success instead of these huge steps that are really pretty much impossible. The other thing that writing can be is a great way to express to yourself or to people in your life or to somebody in your past, the good or the bad. If there's somebody that you very much have admired or has been a positive influence in your life, to be able to write to them as a way of helping to remember to kind of re-engage the positives that they meant for you and to commit to ways that you want to do more of the things that would make them proud. On the other hand, if it's somebody who has hurt you or that you have hurt, to be able to, in some way, if you've hurt them, to make amends, to give context, to be able to describe what changes you're making. Now, if you do this, a real important piece is that you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for them. And you don't know how they'll react. So don't make it be about their reaction. Make it be about your sorting, your asking for understanding, your committing to the changes you're making. If they have hurt you, to be able to describe the impact, the way that hurt has translated to things that you've done, or ways that you've been harmed, ways that you felt. The hope being that if they're alive still, they might get something that they didn't get before. That it might be a place for them to reflect and decide whether they need to make any changes or not. But the real goal is for you to focus on how you're changing, how you're sorting through, and in some cases how you're letting go if this has held on to you, if it's just eaten on you, because that kind of holding on, that resentment or that pain is something that can just eat on a person's psyche, can eat on your body physically, and to be able to not forget, maybe even not forgive. And people often talk about it as forgive. For me, it's more about letting go of what you're not going to be able to change in any case. And if you write about it to them, like I say, don't pin your hopes on them changing. It's not for them, it's for you. Okay, so going back to a whole other thing about the writing is that developing the image and kind of planning the changes in ways that you can keep it intentional and not slide into the old pattern of committing on lists or plans, goals, objectives for the day, and making them small enough goals that you really can make it, so that each of the things that you do differently, because again, this isn't, in my other videos you'll have heard this already, it isn't about the thinking, it isn't about the knowing, it isn't even about the accepting, it's about doing differently, so that the brain circuits can be rewiring in this new way. And it's the doing that gets the brain circuits different. So focus in your writing, focus in your planning on what you're wanting to do more of. People often focus on what they want to stop doing, and I get them, no, focus on having goals that are about doing more of positive things, changes that you're making, so that the circuits can be actively wiring and is kind of overriding, so to speak, but at least weakening the old circuits. But no, the old circuits are there, and they'll pop up sometimes, and you can read about that in some of the other videos, or hear about that. Anyhow, hope this makes sense. Writing can be a great resource. If you haven't been a writer, it's not an easy thing to get started, but just try to do some reflecting. A good time is at the end of the day. It's a way of looking at the day, what went well, looking at the day and, oh, what did I not do? Making a plan for tomorrow. And in the sleep videos, if you've seen them, or if you want to see them, it really does help to learn how to let go and let yourself sleep. If you've done this sorting and you put it down there, learn through time that it's there and you can let go and sleep. More on that in other videos. Okay, write to write, or write to get right. It's a good resource. It's not the only one. The main thing is just doing differently. It's just a good way of helping you keep on track. Thank you for listening. Hope this makes sense. See if there's any others that sound interesting to you.